Right, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. I'm fucking ready! First of all, thank you so much to all the lovely folk who've supported me in doing these videos. I've had loads of fun with it. Let's get into this. I won't be spoiling The Last of Us Part 2, but there are a few mentions of it. This episode is called Look for the Light, bringing our story full circle. The first episode was called When You're Lost in the Darkness, and as we all know, Firefly's motto is when you're lost in the darkness, look for the light. That's a clever little thing you did there. We're opening the episode with the voice of Game Ellie, actress Ashley Johnson, which is a solid start. I suppose there is some kind of symbolism in Game Ellie bringing Show Ellie into the world, but I'm writing this part of the script at 9 AM before coffee, so I'll say no more about that. As a person who has given birth in the past, I am going to ask the nurse to just get a zombie to run at me next time and hope that the baby comes out as quickly as baby Ellie did just there. In the game, we have nothing from Ellie's mother apart from a note. This is primarily a show-only character, which was a great addition as far as I'm concerned. I think Ashley Johnson is a great actress. I've only seen her in What Women Want from like the 90s or something, and Critical Role, both of which do not particularly give her ample material to show off her acting ability. However, in just 5 minutes, she adds herself to the list of great actors the show has employed. These two women nail this scene, and I had a good little weep for Anna. The entire scene was dripping with emotion, and I love the parallels drawn between Anna and Joel in such a short space of time. Both are willing to lie for Ellie.
I cut it before I was bit.
Both are willing to do anything to protect Ellie. Both of them are parental figures to Ellie. Both of them would fight to the end, regardless of the consequences, to keep Ellie alive. The way Marlene kills Anna is cold, but it's not because Marlene doesn't care. In fact, it's probably the opposite. Marlene executed Anna because it was easier for her to do that rather than a long, heartfelt goodbye. Marlene is a very hard person who puts her own needs above that of most people. We'll see more of that at the end. She's not doing it because she's a bad person or anything, more to protect herself in a world where everything you love will eventually be taken away from you in a horrific way. Joel trying his absolute hardest to bring Ellie back to her former self is so heartwarming. He genuinely wants the best for her. Ellie's been through hell and back to get to where we are now, and Joel knows that. But these two are not the most emotionally expressive or empathetic people. Communication is hard for them, so Joel's doing what he can to help in a way that he knows how. He talks about Sarah, games that he wants them to play together. He talks about his passions such as guitar, and that will come back in a pretty big way in The Last of Us Part 2. It's all about him, but it's in a way in which he can use his likes to try and cheer up Ellie. It's cute, albeit ineffective, but damn it, he's trying his best, just like any parent of a teenage girl. Boosting Ellie up the ladder is another game mechanic that I'm glad was included. However, does anyone else hear zombie noises all the way through this scene, or is it just me? I swear I heard a runner, a stalker, and a clicker at different points within the scene.
Oh, it's fine.
But maybe my brain was just willing zombies into existence at this point. This scene in the game is iconic and I love it. However, compared to Ellie in this scene having X-ray vision and being able to see through walls, and also this giraffe breaking the world record for how long its neck is, it's a bit nitpicky, but yeah, a bit strange. Either way, I love this scene. It's a nice little break from all the death and depression we've had so far. I've said it before, but I like it when Ellie and Joel get scenes together where they can just shoot the shit and get to know each other. This time though, they actually know each other. We get a little callback to season 1 and see how far the pair have come. At the start of the season, we had two people who couldn't stand to be around each other. Ellie was in desperate need of a parental figure who wouldn't leave her, and Joel, although he didn't know it, needed someone to take the place of Sarah and give his life meaning again. Just the way they look at each other in this scene shows us that they've both got what they wanted from each other. It's sweet and it's beautiful and it's awful and it's shit and I'm crying again. We also get a little speech from Joel telling Ellie that she doesn't have to go through with anything if she doesn't want to, but what we're hearing is Joel trying to persuade Ellie not to do it. He doesn't want to unbalance what they've got going on, which is a little bit of foreshadowing for where we head later. But Ellie needs this. She needs to feel like the journey that they've been on has been for something. Otherwise, what was the point of the death of Tess and Henry and Sam and particularly Riley? She needs that weight off her conscience. She needs to know that their journey and more importantly, her life means something. Joel's confession about his attempted suicide was a gut punch of a confession which is show only but makes total sense and allows the best line of the show to happen.
It wasn't time that did it.
To dig into the psychology of this for a second, lynching is really normal when you try to inflict harm on yourself. It goes against every fibre of your being. It's like wanting to fall on your face. You physically can't. You'll instinctively always put your arms out, even if you really don't want to. It wasn't because he didn't want to die. He said himself he was ready to go, but it didn't work. So for the next 20 years, he lived as a shell of a person with no reason to go on. In a way, he did die that day until Ellie came along. And as I said, I will do a full video on the psychology of Joel, so subscribe if you want to see that in the future. We get possibly the last sweet moment between Ellie and Joel Joel with our pun book. The last moment of joy we're going to see for a bloody long time. And it's at this point I realised how short this episode was. I didn't know how they were going to squeeze in everything they had left into a 45-minute episode when they also had flashbacks to get through too. And they did manage it, but they did it by cutting out a significant and dramatic chunk of the game. In the game, we spend a large amount of time trying to get to the Fireflies and we fall into trouble in a dramatic water scene. In the chaos, Ellie drowns, and when the Fireflies show up, they find Joel giving Ellie CPR. Even when his life is threatened by them, he does not stop. Remember, Ellie is his reason for living, so without her, it doesn't matter. At this point, the Fireflies incapacitate Joel, and we pick up with the scene of Joel coming around and chatting with Marlene. I wish that they hadn't cut this bit out. I remember playing this bit and my heart was in my throat. By this point, it wasn't beyond the realms of possibility that they'd make you play this game for 40 hours just to get 10 minutes from the end and kill the one thing that Joel cares about. I remember it being the most stressful part of the game, bar killing David, and, you know, Ramboing your way through the hospital. But in my opinion, missing this scene out was an error. It would have added more drama to the situation, as you genuinely have no idea if Ellie is alive for a while in the game. The scene between Marlene and Joel is very similar to the one in the game. However, it might just be me, but I always thought that a cure was sketchy at best in the game. They didn't actually know if they could make one, so doing this to Ellie could have been for no reason. That's why when Joel does what he does, it feels justified. It felt like Joel was the hero. He was saving Ellie from the Fireflies, who wanted a cure so badly they were willing to kill a child for something which they didn't even know would work. Missing this out in the show makes things hit entirely differently. I have never, ever, ever thought Joel did anything wrong, ever, until now. This is beautiful and haunting. The montage of murder sounding far away while the music floated around us was honestly chilling. It reminded me of a mass shooting, which is because that's exactly what it was. I couldn't justify it, and I couldn't feel that Joel was doing the right thing. Joel is dooming humanity for the sake of one person who probably would have chosen this given the chance. This caused so much cognitive dissonance for me. My poor brain, it can't take it. We watched Joel let one of the guards escape, and on first viewing, I thought that was weird. He's killing indiscriminately, and whether or not someone is armed does not matter. So why are they letting someone live when they could have easily sent for backup and stopped Joel? When I watched it again, however, I saw this and it clicked. I'm not going to give too much away for those of us who haven't played The Last of Us Part 2, but this looks an awful lot like Abby. I could be completely wrong, but this isn't the first time the show's hinted at characters from The Last of Us Part 2. We watched Joel walk through the paediatric ward, which is just another kind of chilling. The juxtaposition between his unstoppable rage and violence and the cute innocent little animals painted on the wall is clever. He finds Ellie, and this brain surgeon, who is absolutely definitely smart, decides to take on a gun-wielding maniac with a scalpel. I'm not saying we should give him a Darwin Award, but God bless him for thinking this would solve the situation. Like, I know this video is going to be late because I just had to stop drafting the script after the final scene. There was so much to unpack and I just can't even start to articulate it. I needed like an hour just to come to terms with what had happened. Like, I've played the games. I know how it ends. Yet it's still sweeping the rug from under me. Like, if I've got any non-game players watching this, please tell me how you felt in the comments. I want to know how hard the slap across the face was. I'm going to talk about the end in a little bit of detail, but a lot of the stuff I'm going to delve into will probably be elaborated on a lot in the psychology of the main characters' videos in future. So yeah, subscribe and shit. While Joel doesn't regret what he's done, he clearly doesn't feel good about it. He lies because it's the only way to keep Ellie in his life. Ellie knows immediately she's been lied to. Remember, all Joel wants is a daughter, and all Ellie wants is a parent. To acknowledge out loud what has happened is to completely destroy that dynamic. Everyone loses. That's why at this moment, Ellie is so easily able to believe Joel's lie, even though we can clearly see on her face that she doesn't buy it. For now, while the dust settles, they both need this lie. Ooh-wee. Ooh, yeah! What an episode. Again, not the funniest, but it's hard to crack jokes when Mason and Druckmann are gut punching you every 2 to 3 seconds. Guys, thank you again for all the love. If you've enjoyed this, please subscribe because the majority of you cheeky fuckers don't. I'll be back with more of The Last of Us content, but let me know if there's anything else that you'd like to see because I'm open to a little bit of experimentation. Not like that, you dirty bastard. Anyway, if you've enjoyed my ramblings, press all the buttons, do all the things, and remember I stream on Twitch every Wednesday and Thursday, so stop by and say hi. I fucking love you guys. Okay, bye.